prospective investors for Lily Mine in Mpumalanga say they have plans to retrieve the container with 3 workers trapped inside it. The makeshift office was swallowed by the ground in 2016. Today marks 1,000 days since the families of the trio camped outside the mine. Malungelo Booi is in Barberton following details of that story for us, and he joins us live. All these families want, Malungelo, desperately is closure and to know where their loved ones are. Just bring us details in terms of what it is that we heard from them throughout the course of this morning into the afternoon.
I'll tell you this, Duduzile, they've described their 1,000 days as 1,000 days of torture, misery, and these are the people that feel let down by the South African government. We've heard them, all the representatives from the 3 families, actually telling us, or telling the people that have attended this short program, how their lives have been turned upside down as a result of that tragedy of the 5th of February in 2016, and of course decrying the lack of action from the South African government, but as well as the company that actually owned, Lily Mine. We know that it falls under Vantage Gold. I want to bring in one of the people who actually was in who spoke to some of the community members and the family and the families. Fred Arensay, he's the group CEO, in fact, of SSC. Thank you, Fred, so much for your time. So first, I want to understand your role in all of this.
I represent a company called the SSC Group, and we are a major shareholder in the Angumanzi company, which is the biggest creditor of the Vantage Group. I've been involved in this with the families for 5.5 years now. And we've been funding, we actually bought the tent, for the families when they approach us for assistance after they were forcefully removed by the Vantage management and the business practitioners. And we've been funding them on a weekly basis, their living expenses or the operating expenses of the tent. And the reason why we are doing that, because we believe it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And, the families needed help, and nobody was willing to help them. And I've convinced my board that we should support the families, and we will continue doing that.
And one of the things, though, you spoke about is that you are ready to retrieve that container. Let's talk about that.
We spent in excess of 11 million rand, to do a CPI on Vantage Goldfields, including a very comprehensive and detailed plan on the redevelopment of both mines, Barberton and Lily Mine, but also importantly, a plan to retrieve the container. Specifically to develop a rapid decline to get access to level 5, where we believe the container is trapped. And we have the funding in place, we've got the capability in place, we have the people in place, and we have the ex-employees ready to start. And importantly, we have a schedule. It will take us less than 12 months to develop the rapid decline.
But why are you not going in?
The reason for that is, unfortunately, we have a compromised, a management team in the form of Vantage. We have a compromised business rescue process in the form of the business practitioners, despite 3 court orders, whereby the court ordered them to call a creditors meeting for the creditors to vote on our plans and then to implement the plans. So it is very clear, where is the holdup? And the holdup is not us. We are ready. The employees are ready. But the hold-up is with the business process that is managed by Vantage and the business practitioners.
What do you think it will take then for this process to get going, move that frustration to move away? What needs to happen? Because we're talking here about 3 families and the remains of their loved ones who are still trapped underground. We're going on a 6th year.
Yeah, that's a very difficult question, but also easy question, because we believe that the solution is quite easy. Yeah. But you have to have a will of people that's not compromised. Okay. And we believe if the business rescue practitioners are doing what the law and the court instructed them to do, this process will be over in a matter of months. But unfortunately, they are not willing to do that, and as a result, the families are continually suffering, and the ex-employees in the community.
I want to pick up on something you said. You're saying that there's people that are compromised. When you're saying somebody is compromised, let's expand on that. What is it? What exactly do you mean? Why are they compromised? Why are you labeling them as compromised?
Because it just does not make sense for a business rescue practitioner to not be willing to adhere and uphold the law. Yeah. that are not willing to implement court orders. They're not following the Chapter 6 of the Companies Act. So the business practitioners that are supposed to be independent only listen to Vantage management that have caused this unfortunate accident.
Is it because there are things that they are not comfortable with in all of this, then that makes them to, have reservations?
There is absolutely no credible explanation that can explain the actions of the business rescue practitioners and the management. And I would direct you to actually ask them that question. But on our part, there is absolutely nothing, because we have proven our funding capability to them, which they've accepted. We have proven the capability to them, which they've accepted. We have given them a detailed plan. But the question is, why don't they want to call a creditors meeting, have the plan voted upon, and for us to implement the plan?
Perhaps they just don't believe in the plan.
That will be ridiculous in why I'm saying that. Our plan, that is why we have spent an awful amount of money, 11 million rand, getting external experts helping us developing the plan, especially because we knew that we will be criticized. But we've expensed, that amount of money to develop the plan to open the mines. So there's actually no credible evidence or report that can remotely suggest that we don't have a plan to implement and to open these mines.
All right. Thank you so much, Fred Arendse. Thank you so much for your time. All right, Duduzile, that's Fred Arendse. You've heard him really saying that they are ready to get in there and retrieve that container and ultimately help these families receive closure. It's quite interesting how, when you watch here, Duduzile, how, Fred and also his, business partners and Action SA were received by the communities and the families, because, these families believe that these people are their only hope now, because their government has let them down. In fact, Herima Zibuko, who spoke earlier, saying that, government at some point had promised that they were going to help them retrieve, that container with the remains of those 3 workers. But that has not happened. And they're saying that they will stay here until something happens.
By the sounds of things from your guest, Malu, it's not that difficult. It's a lack of will that is stalling this process. Malungelo Booi, coming to us from Barberton in Mpumalanga. Thank you for that update.